So today is Remembrance Day here in the UK. It's the 11th day of the 11th month. Yesterday was Remembrance Sunday, so all the parades, or most of the parades, went on yesterday because it's normally the nearest Sunday to the actual day. But today is the actual day, and at 11 a.m. I'm sure the bells will be chiming in remembrance at 11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month. To remember all those ones fallen in battle, animals included as well. So I thought I'd come on today and share a couple of things regarding the Great War, the First World War. Now, the first one that I'm going to share with you is something I did mention the other day when I was flicking through my Angel Bible, and it's the story of the Angel of Mons. There's an image there that somebody painted. W.H. Margetson illustrates the extraordinary vision witnessed by many soldiers at Mons. So that's a painting of it. So I'll read it from here, and then I'll sort of talk afterwards. It probably explains it more than me waffling on. So, the Angel of Mons. During the First World War, a legend arose out of the Battle of Mons. Although eyewitness accounts concerning the Angel of Mons do vary, something mystical happened that day, and amazingly it seems that more than one person witnessed the event. The Battle of Mons took place on the 23rd of August 1914 in Belgium, and during the first desperate clash with the advancing German troops, St. George and a host of phantom bowmen stopped the Kaiser's troops. Other soldiers claimed to have seen Archangel Michael leading an angelic army. Some soldiers saw three glowing beings with wings, while others claimed angels threw a protective curtain of light around the British troops. With so many witnesses to the divine intervention, it is not surprising the accounts varied so much. Even German prisoners claimed to have seen the mystical event and been rendered helpless by the apparition. It is true that the British were heavily outnumbered and their plight was a desperate one, so the angel story at the very least lifted British spirits. However, the debate regarding the legend's authenticity still rages over 90 years later. So, there we go. This is a story what come out of the First World War. And filtered back to the people at home, and it was thought that it was probably like a propaganda sort of thingy to share with people back home to give them hope, as well as soldiers. But then there's others who said this, that there is documents where this has all been lodged by higher up in the army officers, that got stashed away and hidden away. So no one really knows the truth except the people what was there. And it's fascinating. I mean, there's an awful lot on the internet if you want to have a look. There's a lot of stories, about people saying that it was a hallucination. It was a book written by somebody that kind of spread the story around to make his book become famous and all the rest of it. So there's a lot of stories going around, but there's also a lot of people that believe that something did happen that day in Mons, and I'm going to read part of now of where it was on the internet. Somebody's grandfather was at Le Mans, and his grandfather used to talk to him all about it, and he used to keep an angel picture in his home, and this man who spoke said he always remembers asking his granddad why he kept this photo of angels, and his granddad used to tell him the story of Mons. And this is how he sort of spoke at the end. I researched this, and there's an awful lot of skepticism about it. People say it could be the men hallucinating. It could be cloud formation or a phenomenon of the weather. It could be this, it could be that. But at the end of the day, my grandfather wasn't a religious man in any shape or form. He had no reason to lie to me. He only told me what he saw. I won't say what he thought he saw, because he was 100% convinced what he saw was there. He told me with great conviction that he had seen the sky full of angels at Mons. They had their wings stretched up above them. He had no reason to make this up, and he remained certain of this right up until his death. in 1966. So this is an eyewitness who was at Mons, and he stuck to his story all his life that there was angels at this battle at Mons. People have different ideas, but I just thought it was a nice story to tell today of all days. And you know, whether you or not you believe it or not, you know, the soldiers involved must have been given great comfort from that, if you know. And so I think it's a wonderful, and I always believe that these stories, there's always got to be some element of truth to make this story start in the first place. So the second part of what I wanted to come on and talk to you about was to share a little bit of a past life reading that I had. It was a few years ago, and it was in a class with a medium, etc., done under meditation, and it stayed with me all this time. I won't go into great detail about it because, you know, I don't want to bore you because it's my past life. But I thought it was kind of interesting, especially again today. So the first thing that she did was take us back to our last life on Earth, apart, you know, from not the one we're in now, but the one before. And I was taken back to the end of the 1800s, and I was born a male. I was a male in that life. I won't go through all the details, but speed it up. She takes us to, you know, in the meditation, she eventually takes you to your time of death in that lifetime, and the moments before leading up to our death, if you like. And I'm on a battlefield in no man's land, and I know I'm running, and I know I'm very young. I'm not very old, late teens maybe, 18, 19, that sort of age group, but I'm only a young man, and I'm a British soldier, and I'm running. I'm running in no man's land. And then she takes us to moments before her death, and I feel something in my back, and I'm face down in the mud. She then asks you to look around what's going on around you at this point. And I know something's got me in the back, and I know I'm dying. And I'm looking around, and there's men lying around dying near me, but there's also some still running. And then she tells you to look to who's next to you. And I remember in this meditation thing, turning to my left, and there was somebody lying next to me, looking at me and holding my arm. And the next part, she asks, who is this person? And I remember saying, it's my best friend. He joined up with me as my best friend. And she said, do you recognise this person in your life now? And I said, my brother. And that has stayed with me forever, ever since I've had it done. My brother in this life was my best friend. There was only 14 months between us, and he was my best friend in this life. And I lost him at 25. When he was 25, I was 24. 1991, so it's an awful long time ago. But he was the last person that I saw in that past life. And we died together. And when he died in this life, I felt that I should be going with him. And I kind of put that down to this past life now, and why I felt so bad, and why I felt I needed to be with him. But that is lovely to know that there was that past life together, and we was there for each other at the end. And one other thing, while I think about it, I do have a birthmark in the bottom of my spine, in my back, about that big, the bottom of my spine. And there is a saying that if you have these birthmarks, it can very often be linked to a past life of how you died. So there you go. Coincidence or not, you make your mind up. But I just wanted to share that with you because, again, that is from the First World War. And that is part of that past life memory. And I would love to delve further into that particular lifetime with him. But it was lovely to know that I had that lifetime with him, and even though we only had him a short time in this lifetime too, yeah, it was strange. He always used to say, you know what, Patsy, I'm never going to be an old man. And he never did. He was 25. Very sad. But I know we'll meet up again, and we'll have other lives together. So that's what I wanted to come on and talk to you about today. And, you know, it's nice to remember the people of the past who went through so much for us. And today being that day specifically set aside to do so. I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now.